doesn't have a headphone jack.
I have like a Samsung.
So I mean, like, honestly, I'm not too unhappy about having an iPhone 7, but I just think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't really know like what prompted them to do the whole no headphone jack thing in the first.
No actual reason. Apple usually starts trends on a whim and tries to make everyone follow to save in money. Because the headphone jack costs about 25 cents or something like that.
Oof.
And they wanted to save a few cents.
I mean, like, if you take 25 cents times like the couple million people that they sell phones
Not
to,
25 cents, like 11 actually, but
still, that can be a pretty big difference.
Well, compared to its utility and how much Bluetooth costs,
Well,
not really.
yeah, I mean, like, obviously it makes it like 10 times worse for the person who buys it.
And also, this is an Apple phone where they already charge over 200% markup.
Yeah.
So they're already making, for every one iPhone you can buy, they can build like 7.
You know, but that being said, though, I mean, like, 25 cents when you have a company that big can actually be a pretty big deal. I mean, like
But
McDonald's,
it's not a
for
big
instance.
deal of Apple, because the argument doesn't work because Apple was $1 trillion. We're talking about a trillion-dollar company.
No, dude, like McDonald's, they took the double cheeseburger off their dollar menu and replaced it with the McDouble. And the only difference is there's one more piece of cheese on the double cheeseburger. But they saved like literally millions of dollars by making that change. Just because of how many people bought the double cheeseburger that are now buying basically the version with one less piece of cheese.
Yeah.
But no, but with how manufacturing and stuff works like that and stuff, and because of how high the markup is for a $1 trillion company that already sells phones that kill themselves, it wouldn't have been. It would not have done anything to the bottom line or profit.
Yeah, probably not.
That's why this isn't some cheap phone company removing the headphone jack so you can buy your phone slightly cheaper. This is literally one of the richest companies in the entire world, which could not physically go bankrupt in a couple lifetimes doing that. And then everyone else follows because they try copying Apple, which is horrible because Apple has not had an original idea since Steve Jobs died. Every time Apple has innovated like a phone feature, like dual screens on the iPads where you have multiple windows, all of that was taken from Android. Every feature that iOS has got in the last 3 years or so was taken from Android. The only thing Apple's ever added is the worst trends, like the notch and no headphone jack. That's the only thing Apple has changed in the industry.
But I mean, like, Steve Jobs was pretty cool, though.
No, he was a horrible man, but
he wasn't as bad as what's going on today, at the very least.
Well, no, Tim Cook is less bad than Steve Jobs. No, Steve Jobs is a monster. However, Steve Jobs knew how to run a company at least, and cared about the customers. Steve Jobs cared about the product, and he cared about his customers. That's all he did care about, though, because he canceled several. When he took back Apple, when he regained CEO, he removed Apple from all the charities and whatnot, and was a real bastard of a man. It's a shame he fell to literally. It's basically if Steve Jobs died by an anti-vaxxer, considering he believed eating vegetables would cure cancer, and of course it didn't. Or was it fruit? It was either vegetables or fruit. I forget which.
Anyone else see, like, in Team Fortress, the guy with his head stretched all the way across the map?
What?
Yeah, there's someone who has, like, their hat or something. It's, like, broke, and it's, like, all the way across the map. It's just stretching that far.
Yeah, I don't see it. I guess that's just you.
Yeah. Yeah, it might just be a client-side bug.
Yeah, it might be.
Well,
it does disappear every once in a while, so I guess it probably is.
No, I think I'm doing pretty good clicking onto enemy snipers' heads, seeing as I literally never play sniper.
I am getting destroyed as Pyro.
What's if the FPS drops all of a sudden?
I have no idea.
So let's see, we talked about Apple, we talked briefly about anti-vaxxers. We talked about Discord. Ollie, you got any topics you want to talk about?
That really.
Actually, no. Let's go a little bit more into depth about anti-vaxxers. Do you think that like people should like be legally allowed to not vaccinate their?
I guess it really depends on what virus. Really,
Well, no.
honestly.
Let's make it this way. Should vaccines for easily preventable diseases be made mandatory, save for medical exemptions? AKA, should we be like West Virginia and make it illegal to have a religious exemption from vaccines? Should we make it mandatory unless you have a medical reason?
I think that would be a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree as well. Because unless you actually have an allergy, you probably should have your vaccines.
You know what I mean? Like when you think about it as well, like people could always just like claim that they're religious and then just not.
Oh, why another spot?
Yeah.
Alright, the spy is why.
Alright, so... But yeah, both us and Australia is already mulling a bill to make it mandatory for vaccines, because for some reason...
Didn't the Netherlands also do that?
I'm not sure about the Netherlands.
Somewhere else also did that I can specifically remember.
I keep up to date of intense research and stuff like that from Asia, the Americas. I do pay attention to Europe and Indonesia and stuff, but I don't. My knowledge is limited in certain areas like Africa and Europe. Although
hold on. I think it was never. Hold on.
Oh, great! I got Girardi on me. Now I'm gonna get the measles. We should go into a TF2 game with like our names just changed to anti-vaxxing memes. See if we get any reactions. Like TF2
essential oils.
Essential oil.
I did find
Italy banned all unvaccinated children from schools.
Oh, so Europe's cracking down on it too.
Yeah, at least parts of it is.
Well, there is homeschool for those kids, though, I guess.
Well, the issue is listen, if herd immunity drops below a certain percentage, it can cause the virus.
Herd immunity.
No, not just herd immunity. You guys have forgotten this. The virus could have a high chance of mutating if it drops below a certain point where it become contagious to us again if we've already had the vaccine. Meaning it could render the current vaccine no longer useful and spread an outbreak to people who were previously vaccinated, killing us all.
Yeah. That's also a pretty big deal.
Yes.
Isn't there a virus now that
I don't want to get the measles.
Isn't there like a virus now that affects deer that like basically makes them zombies?
If we don't do something about the deer virus pretty soon, it's been spreading throughout the entire United States and it's even reached Indiana, I think, by now.
What is it doing?
Going to be The Last of Us.
I haven't heard about this. Please.
There is my knowledge is very limited on it, so take this with a grain of salt. However, basically, it is a degenerative disorder in deer that's been spreading really bad, where it takes just over a year to actually start showing signs of the infection. Infected deer will start to rot from the inside out, and they won't eat food and stuff. They'll just die, and they'll spread it to other deer and whatnot. So it's called the zombie deer virus for short. Because the deer will start suffering, and if humans eat it, humans can get really sick and die.
There's so many animals that have
the bad thing is, the deer shows no signs of being sick until over a year, so there's no way to even figure out outside of testing the meat of like actual chemical thing or something like that, to my knowledge. So if you're out hunting for your family for a nice hunting game, you shoot a deer dead and bring it home and cook it, unless you bring out your freaking chemist kit or whatever.
No way to know.
You're gonna have some worse than Taco Bell in the bathroom.
I mean, I guess if it's like rotting on the inside too, I guess that would also kind of be a sign as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Well, yeah,
it starts falling apart really fast once it hits. but it
Yeah,
takes
there's
a
a full
year.
year. There's a full
Yeah.
year where you have no warning.
You have
to
no
kill it.
warning, and you still get sick if you eat the deer, even if it's still healthy in its healthy stage.
It's gonna like get to the point that it gets to
The
people
deer
and it's gonna
doesn't
be like
eat.
the same thing.
It doesn't really spread. I'm not sure if it spreads any viruses to people, but it could wipe out the deer, which would really screw the ecosystem up.
Yeah, that probably would mess some things up.
Yeah, it's considered it's considered one of the higher priorities by our government at the minute.
Hmm.
And when we have a
I mean, like, that makes
when
sense
we
a
have a
lot.
Republican-controlled government worrying about the environment, you know there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, absolutely no one is getting any progress right now.
I would like to point out before anyone asks, our channel's political views are moderate, so we're neither left or right.